their eating habits, then try this. Place a ball in the bowl to cut off their full access to the kibble. This will force them to move the ball around to get to the food and, in theory, slow them down. Another method to slow your fast eater is to use a muffin tin to spread out all the dog food. It's cheaper than one of those maze bowls you can find at the store. And if you want to turn it into a game, you can cut old tennis balls in half and cover up each cup. It'll leave your hound with a small challenge to work around that's sure to slow them down while also entertaining them to get that brain firing on all cylinders. Fleas can strike at any time, and even if you stay on top of a treatment plan, it can still happen. Here's a tried and tested homemade flea shampoo that you can make in minutes to squash that flea problem. Start off with a measuring cup and grab a bottle or jar to mix everything in. Pour half a cup of water into your container and follow it up with 4 tablespoons of Dawn dish soap. When that's done, also add 4 tablespoons of white vinegar and mix it all together inside the container. Now comes the fun part, applying it to your dog. Make sure you protect their eyes, as soap and vinegar isn't very pleasant in your eyes. Trust me. Work up a nice lather, as the dish soap will help kill any fleas and the vinegar will help repel them. Let your dog sit with the lather built up for about 5 minutes. While you wait, you can run a fine-tooth comb through their fur and get any dead fleas out, or even living ones. Then just dry your dog as usual, letting them get back to their normal antics, but without the flea bites. Even the most well-trained dogs can have the occasional accident, but you can quickly get rid of that stain and the smell, leaving your carpet as good as new. First things first, blot up any liquid that you can with a paper towel. Now sprinkle a bit of baking soda on top of the stain and let it sit while you prepare this recipe. Just mix half a cup of hydrogen peroxide with 1 teaspoon of liquid dish soap. Once you've mixed it all up, you can use it right from the container or add it to a small spray bottle to keep on hand for the next time something happens. Apply the liquid to the spot directly onto the baking soda and scrub back and forth until the stain lifts off completely. This will also work great for other household stains, so keep it nearby for any other mishaps around the house. In the past, we've shown you how to make a pet gravity waterer using wine bottles and zip ties, but we were inspired by an even cooler water dispenser on Chris Notap's YouTube channel. You'll find a link to their in-depth video in the description, but here's how it works. Start with a piece of scrap wood. It can be square or circular. Find a piece of 2x4 roughly the length of a recycled soda bottle. Now attach it to one edge of the baseboard with wood glue and then let it dry before fastening it all together with 2 screws. The trick here is using a curved 2-liter soda bottle, or one that's similar in shape. Then secure it with a 4-inch PVC coupler. You'll need to use a hacksaw or angle grinder to cut out about 1 inch off the coupler. This opening's not only going to make it easier to drill 2 screws through the coupler in 2x4, but it turns the coupler into a bottle holder. Place a large bowl on the baseboard and simply slide a 2-liter bottle filled with water into the dispenser. Carefully twist off the cap and allow the bowl to fill with water on its own. It'll stop dispensing water once the level reaches the bottleneck opening. Your furry friend will be sure to enjoy a constant supply of water without you having to worry about filling up the bowl nearly as often. Maybe it's muddy out, or perhaps your dog just has a tendency to attract dirt. So whether it's after a walk or just a backyard romp, it's a good idea to take care of those dirty paws before they step foot in the house. Try this simple solution. Grab yourself a small sport bottle filled to the top with water and keep it nearby while the dogs go rampaging. When it's time to go in, pop off the lid and dip those dirty paws in for a micro foot bath. When you're done, just dry them off and let Sparky go back to business as usual. It can sometimes be difficult to get your dog to take its medications. You can purchase expensive pill pockets, or you can make your own with stuff you already have laying around. Start with 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, 1 tablespoon of milk, and 2 tablespoons of flour in a small bowl. Just mix everything into a bowl and knead it around, mixing the ingredients together to form a nice thick dough. What you create after that is up to you, but I suggest working the dough into a small, easily edible ball. Once you have your dough all formed out to your specifications, simply insert the pill inside and cover it back up. These don't take long to make, and you can safely keep them in the fridge for up to a week. So if your pooch is fighting back when it comes to medicine hour, give this a try and they'll never be the wiser. My dog doesn't always follow his thirst and sometimes needs a helping hand to cool down. Here's a couple ways to chill out your dog and keep him happy. First off is an old favorite, the Pupsicle. This is a fairly simple treat to make and will definitely keep your dog entertained while cooling them down at the same time. Just get an ice cube tray and slowly fill each cubby with beef or chicken stock. Now it's really important to note the ingredients, as you want to avoid things like onions. Go for the most baseline ingredients and keep your pooch safe. Once you have the tray filled up, get some plastic wrap and layer it over the top. Now this part's optional, but dogs love it. Grab a knife or some scissors and poke a small hole over each cubby. Now put a small dog treat inside using the plastic to keep it centered and upright. Once you have all the slots filled, just toss it in the freezer for a few hours. These will keep for a while, so on the next hot day, just bust out a Pupsicle and put it on a plate for your dog to enjoy while cooling them down at the same time. It's almost like a little puzzle to them, and it'll definitely get their brain working to figure out how to get that treat out of the middle. As for another quick way to cool down the dog on a hot day, what about a waterbed? You can spend lots of money buying a cooling mat for your dog, or you can just spend a few bucks at the store and buy an inflatable raft. Take your raft outside and lay it in a spot that avoids direct sunlight. You want this thing to keep cool. You're gonna need an air pump attachment for this part to keep things simple, but get your garden hose and plug the air hose directly into the outlet. I added a bit of duct tape to make sure that it holds tight. Plug the adapter into the air nozzle of the raft and turn on the water. Make sure to keep it at a low level of flow. It might pop off otherwise. This is going to take a few minutes, but the beauty is that you really only have to do it once per season. As long as the raft is placed in a shady area, it'll retain a nice cool temperature, which makes it the perfect place for your dog to have a break and cool down. If you have a large dog with huge claws, make sure that you get a vessel that can withstand their weight and will resist punctures. That's all there is to it, a quick and simple $3 cooling bed. If you're tired of dealing with the dog food bag, there's a great way to store your kibble while keeping it fresh and easier to pour. Just go through your cupboard and liberate an old cereal container. There's no need to pay for an expensive kibble holder when these can be snatched up for $1 or $2. Just transfer the contents of the bag right into the plastic housing and seal it up until it's needed. Not only is this going to make it easy to fill a bowl, but it's also going to keep ants out and make it super easy to pack a travel bag for your pup.